It's your boy, Bitcoin Trapper. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bitcoin is now trading at 18,180. Brian Brooks, crypto friendly Brian Brooks, get nod to serve 5-year term leading bank regulatory. Outgoing U.S. President Donald Trump has nominated acting comptroller of the currency Brian Brooks, an advocate for crypto friendly reform, to lead the national bank regulatory on a permanent basis. Brooks, a former bank exclusive who joined the office of the comptroller of the currency in March, after a stint as general consul at Coinbase, has headed the federal agency since May. One of his first actions at the agency was to propose a federal license regime for fintech startup which would spare them from obtaining state by state money transmitter license that all crypto exchange currently need to do business. Since being named acting comptroller by Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Brooks has made a number of moves to integrate crypto with the historical gun-shy banking sector. In July, his office published a letter telling national regulated banks they could offer crypto custody service, while announcing in September that these same banks can provide service to stablecoin issuers. Brian Brooks is the man of the year. Next piece of news. Grayscale holds 10.4 billion of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This is a milestone for Grayscale. Congratulations to them. Crypto fund manager Grayscale now holds over 10 billion worth of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency on behalf of the client. It said in a tweet yesterday. The firm was launched in 2013 and is one of the first player to offer crypto-focused service to institutional clients. Bitcoin parabolic move in the past few weeks has caused Grayscale to increase its holding of the asset and the value of them. As per a report by crypto research firm CryptoCompare, the firm Bitcoin Trust product surged by 56% in the past month to its current 9.1 billion market cap. This represents 87.5% of its asset under management. The product also saw a record of 250 million weekly inflows over the last month, the report added. Mexico, second richest man reveals 10% of his liquid asset are in Bitcoin. Mexican billionaire Richard Salnas just declared 10% of his portfolio is now tied up in Bitcoin. Billionaires are buying Bitcoin. Grayscale is hitting new heights because millionaires and billionaires are buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin protects the citizen from government. That is what this Mexico's billionaire just said. I'm not gonna go over this because it talks a lot about him and a little bit about Bitcoin, and I don't want to make this video too long. So Consensus acquired blockchain developer tool maker Truffle Suite. So Consensus is adding dApp development platform Truffle Suite back to its lineup on Ethereum tools. So back to its lineup, I guess it was on Ethereum before, or Consensus, or with Consensus. Consensus Chief Strategy Officer Simon Morris said Tuesday the Ethereum-focused firm has acquired the team and technology behind Truffle. The acquisition represents a reunion of sort. Truffle originated with Consensus in 2015 but spun out in 2019 to mass $3 million in an equity sale. Terms of the Consensus reintegration were not disclosed. So they didn't say how much Consensus was, bought the Truffle Suite for, or it being on it, the Consensus and part of Ethereum. So Bridgewater, Dalio, said that he'd love to be corrected on Bitcoin Twitter. So he was talking about some stuff on Twitter, and some people reached out to him because he was talking some things about it. So now that I guess he has a change of heart after he saw Bitcoin and people educated him on it. So in a Twitter thread, the chairman of the world's largest hedge fund said, I might be missing something about Bitcoin, so I'd love to be corrected. So people on Twitter corrected him. So there's 10 dApps hit 1 million users this month on the Ethereum blockchain. The top 3 dApps is Crypto.com, DeFi Swap, Uniswap, and Compound. If you want to read this whole article, I'll leave the link in the description. Bulk pre-ordered for the latest Bitcoin ASIC miners are sold out until next spring. So if this is sold out till next spring, you could tell there's a big demand, and the mining for Bitcoin is going crazy. There must be someone big, maybe in the US or China or somewhere else, that did this, because these things are not cheap. These ASIC miners, and these are the latest Bitcoin ASIC miners, sold out till next spring. That is crazy. Another piece of news: BitMEX and founder face yet another lawsuit alleging money laundering and market manipulation. If you don't know about BitMEX, this has been going around for a long time. That BitMEX is manipulating the market and money laundering. This has been going on for a long time. So I guess they getting up to BitMEX and checking them out. That's all the news I have right now. I have a video I'm gonna play for you guys that came out not too long ago.
Why do you think there's been such this, I don't want to say resurgence, but surge in interest this year? Is it just money printing and deflation and global currencies?
Yeah, Brian, well, Bitcoin never sleeps, so that's the easy soundbite. And it is like a global phenomenon. Yeah, it sounds like a good movie, right? It's a global phenomenon. Look, we have the perfect storm for why Bitcoin is doing so well and why it will continue to do so well. Look, we have aging demographics in the Western world. We have massive debt, massive personal debt, massive corporate debt, massive government debt, and it's getting worse with all the impact of COVID and some of the things you were just talking about on the show before. And then the response from central banks is to print money. And when you print more of something, what happens to its value? It goes down. So Bitcoin is one of the only sound monies on the planet. You have silver, and now you have digital gold, Bitcoin. And so when a scarce asset is compared to a not scarce asset, we have what we call the fiat fiasco. And it's been going on really since the 70s. And if you look at the value of money, it's continued to be destroyed by the creation of it. And Bitcoin does the opposite, right? We know how much Bitcoin is going to be created every day for the next 140 years. And it's controlled by math, not by individuals.
I'll push back a bit, Mark, because my colleagues, with all due respect to them, they call it a cryptocurrency. I try to avoid that term. I don't think currencies should move like this. Maybe it's a commodity. Is it money? Because you can knock the dollar, you can knock the euro, you can knock the yuan, but they don't move 5,000% in 5 years. Maybe if you're in the Weimar Republic in the 30s, or Zimbabwe or Argentina, whatever it might be, is it a currency? Or is it an asset class?
Look, it's a fantastic point, Brian. And think about what it is, right? It's programmable money. And when money is young, money is very volatile. Think about when the dollar was first used. It had wild swings because really people didn't know what it was. The dollar's only been around since the 1700s. It's really a very young currency. And currencies over time have been spectacularly volatile, as you said. Think about things like Zimbabwe or Argentina, Venezuela, just the last 2 years, the Bolivar. So what happens with money is it becomes accepted based on custom. But you're absolutely right. Where we started with Bitcoin is as a commodity. Just like gold, gold has commodity characteristics, but it has monetary characteristics. People think of it as the commodity that comes out of the ground, but gold for 5,000 years has been a perfect store of value, right? 1 ounce has bought a fine man's suit, like the one you're wearing today, for 5,000 years, from Egyptian times to the Revolutionary War to today, Savile Row, $1,500 for a nice man's suit. So Bitcoin is just the digital form of that. And so in these early days, when people think of it as a commodity, and people think of it as a scarce asset, it's going to have more volatility. But over time, we'll see that it becomes digital money.
And part of Bitcoin is that, and listen, a lot of people know it, a lot of people don't, so I'm just going to kind of speak level, is that there's about 21 million that will ultimately exist.
Right.
I think about 18 and a half or just under 19 million have currently been mined or found, or whatever parlance you want to use. Right. What happens when all 21 million are mined? Does it become like the art market in a way, in some respects, Mark? If there's no more that you can do and mine, does it then become like a Porsche or a Bordeaux? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Oh, look, you bring up a really important point. The best performing asset over the last decade is not stocks. It's actually not even Bitcoin, which Bitcoin outperformed stocks dramatically over 10 years. It's actually collectible Porsches, right? Because there's only 3 guys in the world that buy them: Jerry Seinfeld, Jay Leno, and this guy John Shirley, but ex-Microsoft. And so when there's limited supply, right, you can't make more vintage Porsches, and rising demand, prices rise. So the price will continue to rise for Bitcoin forever. Now, what will happen over time is we'll split into units of measure called Satoshis, 8 decimal places. We have 100 billion Satoshis. And so if you think about any scarce asset, this has to do with what's called the stock to flow ratio, the new flow of an asset relative to its stock. Look at the dollar, the US dollar. We have massive new flow compared to the stock. So it's depreciating, it's devaluing, and it's only going to get worse. If you look at gold or silver, not a lot of new flow to stock. Bitcoin actually is the scarcest asset in the world based on that stock to flow measure.
Shepard Smith.
This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is cryptocurrency. This is the future. It's your boy, Bitcoin Trapper. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You already know.